Top of the morning, besties. It's your girl, Rockstar Rochelle, your virtual bestie, your virtual 31 consultant. Welcome to another episode of Bag Babe TV. Every Saturday since for 7 a.m. West Coast time, 10 a.m. East Coast time. We've been meeting here for the last 5 years. So thank you so much for taking a moment of time on your weekends to get some of this amazing positive energy and spending some time with me. Today is actually a special day, okay? Bag Babes, you know, I've been talking about rebranding more of health and wealth. So today I do have a special guest, okay? So give me a big like if you do like what you're seeing, and always comment down below what more information you want to do, okay? You guys know what to do. Hashtag live down in the comments, hashtag replay. If you're catching the replay, I know it's a big weekend, and I hope you and your family are doing something amazing and that you're present with us here, okay? I'm going to say hi to you guys, and I'm going to quickly go over what's happening with 31. Just because today is the last day for this catalog. We did drop a new hot pink, which is the essential storage tote, and you can definitely get fall products today. As always, just head over to the website and it will all be there, because tomorrow I will be going live. I go live every first of the month to go ahead and tell you all the good things that are happening and all the sales that are happening with 31. So I wanted to keep that intro short because I have all this stuff going, this amazing guest waiting in the wings, because tomorrow I'm going to be popping in live too with all this fun stuff. So for August, wrap all that stuff. September's around the corner. It's fall. Let's just welcome fall, right? All right. So good morning, Stephanie from Indiana. Good morning, Gwen. How are you from Maryland? Lana, what's up? My Canadian friend. How are things? Things are well. Denise, welcome. You're here live. Denise, I don't know if I officially welcomed you, but welcome, and let us know where you're chiming in from. Robin from Missouri, good morning, my friend. And there's my brother representing. Hello, Ryan. And Nancy, good morning from Ohio. Okay, I'm glad we were able to wrap up the gift. Roxana, you're camping. Amazing. Of course you are. And that amazing RV. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to my guest. Again, I've been telling you guys since Mom's passing, it was a clear sign from up above that health and wellness is like where you need to go, Rochelle. And I've been teasing that for many years on this channel. And, you know, I finally accepted it, and it's clear. And so here it is. Okay. Carla, good morning, my friend from Pennsylvania. And here it is. So I know I have a bigger reason here during this lifetime, and I want to make a bigger impact with you friends. So I'm going to bring on guests that are talking about health and wellness, mindset, you know, all that fun stuff. Because I want you guys to live a good life. You know, it's never too late. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. And my friend Sarah, who's waiting, she's gonna prove that to us. I always tell her, when I grow up, I want to be like you. So if you have anything on health and wellness, nutrition, go ahead and drop in the comments your questions. If we don't get it during this live, don't worry. We'll make sure we answer them in the comment section or on the next live. Okay. And good news, she will be here next week as well, next Saturday, and she's going to be talking about exercise. You know, all the beginning stuff, like things that we're here to encourage you to take that first step. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a big step, but that first step is like always the hardest step. And so we're here to encourage that. So without further ado, here is Sarah. I've been knowing her for, Sarah, I don't know. Is it, I think it's 2 years. I think it's 2 years. 2 years, right? 2 years.
Time just goes by, right? In the blink of an eye. It's yes. Like, where did that time go? It's probably longer than that, to be honest.
Yes.
Right. Unfortunately, like, we don't always like to worry about time, but it probably is a little bit longer than that. So yeah, and I am so thankful and grateful that you've got me on here today. I don't have a little beaker like to go beep 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 beep. I should go whoa. So I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about health and wellness. And I think one of the most important things that you just said was it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
And don't wait until you get a diagnosis or you get a problem, right?
Yeah.
And I know that we have connected, and I don't know how much you want to share, but, I've kind of I have this ability to kind of recognize within people things that they may not be ready to recognize within themselves. And so it's just, for me, I like to hold space for everybody until they are ready to make that movement into health. So obviously from my accent, you can tell I'm not a native. I live in Pennsylvania right now, but I am actually from the UK, from Kent in the southeast of England. So just to give you a little bit about me and who I am. So I'm Sarah Rhoden. I'm a functional medicine practitioner and also personal trainer. I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 20 years. So I hope to come today to bring you some kind of insights into combining all aspects of health together and how it can be the biggest gift you can give to yourself going forwards in life. So does that sound good to you, Rochelle?
Absolutely. with her expertise and as you guys know, I work as a nurse, and so it's great to bring on people that are like different aspects of health and wealth. So Sarah can definitely talk about the nutrition and the exercise portion, and I can more like bring in on the science and the anatomy. So it blends very well. So go ahead, guys. Welcome Sarah to the chat. And if you have any questions, please drop it in, or you can message me. I do want to respect your privacy. So if you feel like, hey, I'll ask Rochelle on the side, feel free to, okay? You can message me and I'll get it today, okay? So
I think our togetherness is great because, like you say, you've got that nursing background, and I've got my background actually is forensics. So I don't know whether you know that about me, Rochelle.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Forensics, and I was actually a police officer, so in the UK, and then that's how I kind of health was always my side gig, and then I came to the US, and it took me on full speed.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go. So you've learned something new.
It's funny because when I was in nursing school, I was considering mine was either labor and delivery, or I wanted to go into forensic nursing. Yeah. And obviously I didn't go that route, but that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we got that double whammy here. We've got both sides of the more holistic side and also the modern medicine side. Yeah. So it's good for us to kind of have this discussion so that we can kind of help people so that we can see, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. And right. Colleen, I mean, totally holistic medicine is so important. And I think that we need to also acknowledge that we need to take responsibility for our own health so that we don't overburden the healthcare industry. And the people that truly do need the help can get it, but we do need to make sure that we're taking responsibility for ourselves. And that's what I'm here to do. Yeah. Hey, Robin, nice to see you.
And there's good morning, Terry from Ohio. We're doing something different. We're focusing on the health and wealth. And so I hopefully at the end of this live that you guys drop all your nuggets, all your aha moments. So Sarah, this will help us and mainly help you guys. So Sarah, let's gut health. Should we go for it? Okay. So what?
Okay. And it's kind of funny. Let me just back up before I talk about gut health, just so that you can understand my story and how come I went from personal training health, and I've done health coaching, why I went into functional medicine, just so that it can give your listeners a little bit of a background as to what and how this happened. And for me, I reached 40. I was about mid-40s, and almost I've done been in personal training and stuff like that for many years. I felt like I'd been I ate well, I did everything, I exercised, but my body fell apart. And I went to doctor after doctor looking for solutions. And everybody wanted to tell me it's your age, or take this medication, anti-inflammatories, and I realized that I was chasing for a diagnosis. Okay. But when I realized that, what does the diagnosis mean? It means that probably I'm going to be on medication or whatever. Yes. And I wasn't happy to do that route. So I was suffering with things like, some of you ladies out there may relate. I don't know where you are in ages, but I had my hair falling out. I had fatigue. I had brain fog. I had weight gain, mainly around the belly. And I was working out, I couldn't shift the weight, joint pain, palpitations. I even had an ocular migraine where I went blind for a moment. This was crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was told it's just your age. And I feel like I got like that kind of gaslighting from the
Yes.
medical industry. And I wasn't happy. So that's how I ended up. I'm going to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find out what the problem is.
Yes.
And one of the biggest things for me was learning how important my gut was.
Yes. And I just wanted to chime in, Sarah, from like the nursing perspective. That is true. And I've shared with my viewers before that, like my goal in life is just to be on like one medication, you know, and I hope it's a multivitamin, you know,
Right.
but it's just you know, from the nursing perspective, like when I see patients, it's just, you know, list of like medications and stuff. And it's true. Like here, you know, we try to treat the symptom and not like
the root cause.
Help you get off of the medication, kind of, you know, to say. So in some aspects we are getting better, you know, but we're here to encourage you to like start early, start now, so that when, like you said, when you get the diagnosis, or when you're telling me, like, if you feel that lump, or if you feel like how I did, I burnt out, or, you know, something just tipped over, that those things are okay, but maybe that's your big sign saying like, okay, it's time, you know. So
yeah, and I always believe, you know, again, some people will also say, I'm going to go and supplement. And I'm like a little bit of a person that's like, we don't want to over supplement either, because I don't want to be like a drug baron. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, or a supplement person, like giving you supplements. Because again, holistic medicine, functional medicine is all about getting to the root of why you've got the problem.
yes.
And it could be that it's not necessarily related to a deficiency. It could also be something that in your childhood that you haven't like dealt with.
Right.
Or like you say with yourself, like you could find that something happens to you that almost like breaks open everything. And then there's a cascade of emotions that you haven't dealt with.
Right. Colleen
Right.
says traditional Western medicine seems to always tell women to lose weight without finding out why they are carrying extra weight.
Yeah. And that is actually a really good point. So thank you for that point, because I always like to say we demonize weight. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is take it as a slightly different perspective. Weight gain quite often is a way that the body protects you. So if you think of toxins are stored in our fat. So when there's something toxic, and again, I can look back on my situation, and I was working too much. I was working out too much. I had a lot of stress with trying to grow a business, kids stress, relationship stress, everything. And my body was putting on that weight. So some of that wasn't related to what I was eating or how much I was exercising. So I want you to just remember that that's not always the case. Then throw in for women, particularly, you know, women like, and again, we're all different. There is no one size fits all. There is nothing that says, because like Rochelle, you said to me, you're the expert. I'm not the expert. I want to tell you, you are the expert of you.
Yes.
I am the person that helps you facilitate and understand what is the problem and what your body's trying to tell you. Okay. So you can, you know, women, like we get into that age where as well, we throw in all the hormonal issues.
Yes.
And that can start anywhere. But I mean, menopause, for example, and I want to say that menopause is one day. Okay. One day. And the one day of menopause is when you've had 12 consecutive cycles of no period or no menstrual cycle. Okay. So you're often in that perimenopause or postmenopause. And let me tell you, postmenopause isn't a one and done. That's for the rest of your life. So once you get there, that's for the rest of your life. And you have to learn to navigate the symptoms.
Yes.
So I've kind of like gone off on a tangent.
I know.
We wanted to talk about gut health.
Yes.
Right? But why is gut health important? So now the gut health, have you ever thought about trust your gut feelings? Has anybody told you that?
Yes. Like trust your gut. Listen to your gut.
Your gut.
Yeah. Like, you know, when something bad happens, like, oh, it's like I got, you know, I got punched in the gut, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because and your listeners may be able to tell us is, you know, it's so important that thing about trusting your gut. Again, it's like trusting your body. It's like trust what you're feeling.
Mhm.
And sometimes people think of gut issues as bloating, right? That could be number one, right?
Or,
You think, oh,
like
yeah.
or like the flow of movement. Like they're either having too much movement. I'm talking about number two, ladies, or they're not having any movement. Like I remember I experienced that. I was like, what is going on? You know, so yes.
And again, what happens as well as, and I say as we age, I hate using that because it really like almost like sends me over the edge. But things do slow down. So when our metabolism maybe like people say the metabolism slowing down, it really isn't necessarily the metabolism. It could actually be that we're not as active, like we aren't doing as much, right? And also our digestive system can slow down. A lot of that can be because we are continuing to have so much stress. We're not sleeping well. So it's so important for us to remember how gut health is like the key for us to work on, because also hormonal changes, the gut needs to be able to filter those and poop them out. And I love talking poop.
Like as a nurse, there's a lot can tell us about you in your poop, you know. Yeah. So I wanted to add to that, Sarah, that with the gut health, you know, now that I think about it and the science to it's like kind of like the first indicator of like, hey, look at me. Would you agree, like in terms of like, hey, there's something wrong with me, or you know, like the body, like that's like the little, like your subconscious like saying something like,
yes, totally. Okay. It's almost like, and again, we've kind of been conditioned over the years not to listen to it, right? So if you think about it, who said eating breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, snack was a good thing? Because maybe what we need to do is actually feel that feeling of hunger, right? So that we're starting to reconnect our mind and our brain to understanding, oh yeah, I'm actually hungry. Like if I sit here right now, I've just been working out online with my group and I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit hungry. My stomach is kind of gurgling. But recognizing, oh, well, that gurgling isn't a hunger pain. Like how often of us actually feel hungry?
Right.
We think, oh yeah, it's 1 o'clock, we better have lunch.
Yes.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock, we better be thinking about dinner, right? So it's like trying to learn how to navigate your body, and that's the key.
Yes.
Your body.
Yes.
Some people do really well with intermittent fasting. Other people don't, because they may be already under an immense amount of stress. So you put intermittent fasting in there and you're raising the stress levels even more in the body.
Yes.
And again, like, oh, you must take this shake, or you must do, you know, keto, or you must do that. Like, it's not always for everybody. And also, it isn't always throughout all stages of your life. So what worked for you in your 20s does not necessarily work for you in your 40s.
Yes. Or 50s. Yeah.
And comparing ourselves, like they say, the comparison is the biggest thief of joy.
Amen.
When we compare ourselves to our younger selves, that can also be a problem.
Definitely. The self comparison, you know, I share freely like my journey here. And I was saying, like, I'm always looking at the old Rochelle, like the before mom. And then this is me, the new Rochelle. And my physician told me, like, you're still the same Rochelle. You know, this is just a newer version that I'm learning to, you know, rediscover. And just like you're seeing with the comparison, I mean, I was guilty of that. Like when I was coming into my 40s, I was like, okay, in my 20s, all you did was cardio, right? Like a whole bunch of cardio just to lose the weight. And it's just like, it's not working anymore. So, you're
and that's where like as well, when I talk about these things as well, you can start getting depressed. Like so much happens, you know, in our gut, that emotions as well, like you know, that have to be like processed is the word I'm looking for. Like we have to process all these feelings. And
Correct.
actually, sometimes when you look back and you think, oh, wow, if I could go back to my 20-year-old self, when I was looking in the mirror and thinking that I wasn't enough and that I was fat, and go back to her and say, you are gorgeous, you are
Yes.
amazing. And
Yes.
what I want to challenge you as well is think about you now. What would your future self come back and tell you right now?
I would tell my, like, if my future self, I'm going to say like 60s, 70s, say to me right now, like, Rochelle, I'm proud of you for taking these steps. Because of these steps, I'm able to walk. I'm able to like enjoy life. I'm able to see my adult children and go visit them and possibly help them raise their kids. So I want my future self to say, thank you, Rochelle, for taking the step. I know it was hard, but the steps are important. Is that
Yeah.
is that something you're looking for?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's perfect. And I think that sometimes what I recommend some of my clients do is just take those moments to just remember all the things that you are doing right now and to celebrate where you are. Celebrate your body. Yes, maybe you have a pain, right? Like I say, I've been dealing with different shoulder issues throughout this like journey of this journey of life, right? But it's like I don't let it take over me. I nurture my body. I'm grateful for the pain, because quite often when you think back on some of these pains, the pain is there to teach us something.
Yes.
The pain is there to teach us something. Either it's something about what we're doing, which we need to change, or well, more often that's the case, right? When you think about it, like my shoulder issues hormonally, but also over exercising. There is such a thing. You can do too much of a good thing.
Yes. Lori says, she's texting me on the side. She's saying, hello, good morning from Michigan. She says, as women, we do not lose weight the same way we did as we were younger. And which is true. As Americans, we also need to learn portion control. The servings that we are given in restaurants are huge. We don't have to eat it all in one setting. Take some home. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And actually eating out, and again, I do have faith that things are going to change. Like you said about the healthcare industry, I do believe, and I hold that vision that like people like me working together and actually influencing people, because remember, the people are what speak.
Yes.
So as we say, this is not acceptable anymore. We want more like organic food. We want to know where this is from. We want to know what you've put into this. Like you go to a store, you're like, oh, a nice Italian loaf. And you turn it over and you're like, the people in Italy would be horrified because they can't pronounce these words. Like there's an ingredient list this long. I'm not just picking on Italians or Italian.
I know.
Right? But I'm just like using that as an example. Like having more people know what is in our food supply, what is in our hair care products, what is in our skincare product, everything that we're doing, even our furniture. There's so much toxicity in our world that we need to start to say, this is not acceptable. This is what we want. And that's what I kind of like hope to draw attention to, because we are seeing it's not just about diet and exercise. There's so much more to this.
Yes. So friends, we're just simply sharing our stories and talking here just to enlighten you guys, maybe open your eyes, or encourage you guys to take that first step. And if you find this, if you're guys are finding this helpful, please comment yes in the chat. Yes in the chat if you are ready to learn some fun facts about gut health, because we're about to go into gut health, because as you can see, Sarah and I, we're very passionate and we could just talk. And so I'm here to kind of like, okay, Sarah, we're going to talk about gut health today.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in my mind. Okay. So again, quite often people will come to me and say, okay, I've got to work on my gut. What probiotics should I do? So before we start introducing things like that, I always think, let's remove some of the toxic things first. So we want to remove things, simple things.
Yes.
And when I say remove, I don't want you to think of deprivation.
Yes.
I want you to think about that you're going to replace it with something better. Okay. So this is really how I would like to work. So we're not removing, we're replacing.
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna replace, say, and again, certain foods are more toxic to different people. And again, there is no one size fits all. But one of the things that we can do is things like sugar can be a major one. Anything processed or packaged, we can start removing those from our lives. When we start actually cooking more whole foods, organic foods, fruits and vegetables into our life, adding those things. And people say, oh, it's too challenging. But I want you to just think it's not. Think about the enjoyment that you can have from actually preparing some of that. And it doesn't have to be that long. I mean, nowadays we've got so many different things like, what do you call them? Because again, I might call it like English, like we have the slow cookers. You've got the
crock pots. The crock pots. Yeah.
Crock pots, you know, again, it doesn't need to be that difficult, like steaming some vegetables. You can buy yourself a steamer. You can grill some chicken. And again, like one of your people said here, it's also about remembering how much portion we have, not overeating. And remember that it takes 20 minutes for us to recognize that we're full. And one thing that I notice with almost most people is digestion begins in the mouth.
Yes.
So we must remember to chew our food. And as a British person coming to the US, one of my things that always stresses me is when I go out to a restaurant to eat, because they'll go out and then one person may have finished their food and they're clearing the plate. And it's almost then I feel rushed, right? I feel rushed to consume, to make sure that I finish so that they can take the plates away from everybody. That's just my hang up, right?
No, I get it.
It's like, but it's just slow down.
Yes.
Slow down. Chew your food till it almost becomes liquid.
Yes.
Because if you think about your gut, if you're swallowing like very lightly chewed food, it's like the bacteria in your stomach is like waiting there, right? It's like that. It's like, oh yes, we're gonna eat.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh my gosh, we're not going to eat. We're being bombed. We're being bombed, Sarah. We're being bombed, right? And they're like, we're under attack. We're under attack. And these little things have got to work really, really hard to try and break this down. And sometimes it's like we're overwhelmed.
Right.
So we need to help our gut by giving it the best chance it can by actually slowing down chewing our food. That way we're less likely to overeat.
I love how Colleen says peer pressure at the table, not to mention when we don't chew our food, we're doing peer pressure to the bacteria in our gut, right?
Yes.
I did want to bring some science into that. Like, that's why we have saliva. Saliva has has the enzymes to break down our food. That's why we have a mandible, which is our jaw, and our teeth. And the whole purpose is to break down our food, and so that when it enters, it's not that's the science to it. So yes, so you're 100% correct. And thank you for that reminder that digestion does start in the mouth, not in the gut. Let me see. Lori says, when we do something that causes us pain, we need to figure out why and what do we need to change. It's frustrating to me that a lot of the things that America allows in our food is banned in other countries. And you could definitely attest to that, Sarah. That should tell us something, she says. Almost anything that you can make homemade versus buying it is probably going to be better for you.
Yeah, totally. And again, it's just helping people navigate that, because again, sometimes we can be overwhelmed because we don't know where to start. And I love to work by just making small changes. So it could be, instead of buying chicken nuggets, for example, we could buy like the organic chicken nuggets. And then from the organic chicken nuggets, we could then make our own chicken nuggets in the air fryer. So it's about stages.
Yes.
The mistake many people make is they go, like I see it with exercise.
Yes.
New year. Oh my gosh, I need to lose this weight. I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to go 5 days a week and I'm going to work out for 2 hours every day. We get to like maybe the second week.
Yes.
And we're like burnt out and we're like, I hate this.
Yes.
So for me, it's like, let's be strategic.
Yes.
Let's see what little things we can change. And also the person that actually made this comment about learning, that's the other thing that I love to get people to do is journal so that you can then see how it affected your body. So when you wake up in the morning, do you have joint pain? Do you feel bloated? Did you go to the bathroom? Like all these things are messages from the body as to how well your body is dealing with these things.
Or even like, did you sleep well? You know, like sleep is another thing. Like, let's not.
Yeah, we could talk all about sleep, right? Yeah. That's where our body rests and digests.
Yes.
When we sleep.
Yeah. So, friends, we're just letting you know, like, just as Sarah said, you know, when it comes to health and wellness, it's like such a huge thing, like a huge topic. And we're here to try to help keep things simple, because it is simple, and staging, which I love, because we can easily get overwhelmed, especially when we don't know where to start or what to do. So we're hoping that we can bring these tools and enlighten you to get started, or like, hey, let me try that, you know?
Yeah, I have a couple of tips if you want me to share those.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so all right, guys, give me a yes if you want to hear tips from Sarah.
We want to hear like a couple of tips.
Yeah, and then here's what Colleen says. That's why dinners in European countries take much longer than in America. Would you agree?
Yes. Actually, before we go on to the tips, Colleen, that's a really good thing, because you just said in Europe, there are certain things that aren't allowed in our food. I always use the macaroni and cheese, that Kraft macaroni.
Oh, yes.
If you went to Europe, UK, you would see that it looks and tastes very, very different, because there's certain additives, colorings that are allowed here that are not in Europe. And again, we have to follow the money, like, as well, like to understand, you know, why is this happening? And I just want to encourage people, what you buy is what you're accepting, right? So if you want to make change, it doesn't have to be big changes. It can just be small changes.
Yes.
So, all right, well, let me perhaps buy a different version rather than the Kraft. You know, let's buy something different, so that our dollars are actually being used to say what we want.
Yes. And not only that, but like, I always say, like money is energy. So it's like, what do you want to, like, you picking a way, you know, you choosing what to spend your dollars on is also an investment in what you put into your body. So, you know, like, think of it that way in terms of like, when you're choosing what to buy. And then I see the yeses, and then Lori says she likes to do a lot of homemade versus buying. She makes her homemade yogurt, ricotta cheese, mozzarella cheese. She's made homemade bread. Sourdough bread is like a huge thing right now, and plus many other things.
Actually, I was just writing a post about the benefits of sourdough, so maybe I should make sure I share that on my Facebook today.
Yes. So if you said you spend on your priorities. I love that, Colleen. That is so, oh my gosh, that's going to be my aha moment for today.
Right.
Okay. So Sarah, let's go ahead and get to those tips. Everyone's like, yes.
So one of the things that I see a lot of women not do is adding extra fiber. So we want to aim for about 20 to 25 grams of fiber daily. Now, before you run out and buy a fiber supplement, be like, okay, what do I need? I need to add a fiber supplement. No. Just think about fiber-rich foods. What do I mean by that? Things like whole grains, things like leafy greens, berries, avocados, nuts, seeds, legumes. All of those are great things to add in. Like, again, don't immediately think supplement or additive. Think about, how can I add this into my life with food? So, like, for example, a great thing to do would be, just if you've got a yogurt, you know, you go and buy your yogurt and you just sit there, get a yogurt and add some blueberries and raspberries and maybe some ground flax seed or some chia seeds or some walnuts. Adding those kind of things is just game changing, and it makes it feel more satisfying.
100%. And with the fiber is huge with gut health, because it helps with the digestion.
Yes.
One of the tips as a nurse is, if you know you're getting enough fiber, or you're eating healthy, your poop should float.
Yes.
Like if floating poop is good, if it goes down to, then there's some changes that need to be made. Let's just say that.
Yeah, there was a show, and I don't know if there's any English British people on here, but there was a show. Her name was Gillian McKeith, I think it was,
Mhm.
and she did this show where, and I dream of this show because this maybe we should do this show, but maybe not. But
Okay.
what she would do was she would bring people in, and she would say what they've eaten, and she'd put it all out on the table, and then she'd send them to the bathroom, and they'd come out with like a little plastic container.
Mhm.
And it would have the poop in it. And she would describe the smell. She would describe what it looked like. And she would tell you what she has learned from just that. And it's amazing, like you say, what you can learn. And a lot of people don't talk about this.
No, they don't. Well, yeah. But
I mean,
yeah.
just to give you an example, my kids have sent me pictures of their poop, like to celebrate, like in the toilet. And I'm like, this is some kind of crazy that my kids are doing this.
we all have our little things, and but yes, because as a nurse, like bowel movement, we call them bowel movements. Let's call them bowel movements. That's like one of our assessments when people are in the hospital. Like, did they have one? And then what is the texture, the consistency? Like the texture was it formed or soft? Or is it liquid? And then the color, of course, like, because the color is also an indicator. And then the size, like, was it a large amount, a small amount? So it's I know we're making fun and making it lighthearted, but it is like from a nursing perspective.
And I think it's good to make it lighthearted and fun because it makes it so that it's less of a taboo subject. Right. Definitely. It's like generally menopause. There's such a taboo around some of the things that women are suffering. And it's only now that women are like, we need to talk about this kind of thing. Actually, somebody had said to me a little while ago, they're like, oh, menopause is a natural process. Why are we making such a big thing? And yes, you're right. Menopause is a natural thing, but we don't have to go through menopause suffering.
Mm-hmm.
It's a point in our lives where it's that time where it's about refocusing on us. And as women, more often than not, we have been and done looking after everybody else. And we've almost been conditioned to believe that we need to suffer and we need to change this.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so
second tip number 2, probiotic rich foods. Okay, so things like yogurt, tempeh,
I don't even know
kombucha, pickles, kimchi. These are all great for replenishing the gut bacteria and supporting that healthy balance. So you said you didn't know what tempeh was.
Yes.
I keep trying it. I'm not a big fan. And again, like I say, there's some things that you'll like and there's some things you don't like. So some people don't like kimchi.
Yes.
Some people hate pickles or they like certain pickles.
Yeah.
But again, it's finding what works for you.
Okay.
And it could be a reason that you don't like it. Like I always said, I hate pineapple. I hate is a big word, right? Okay. I dislike it.
Okay.
And I didn't realize, but actually I did run a food sensitivity test and I found that was one of the ones that I was definitely sensitive to. My whole life I'd said I didn't like pineapple. My body knew. But I was like, oh, pineapple's good for you. You should like pineapple.
Yeah.
It's a bit like some people don't like strawberries or tomatoes. Like there could be reasons. You could have a reaction, a histamine reaction. And some of that, again, can be as a result. Some things we need to work out what is good for us and what isn't. Number 3, artificial sweeteners. This is a big one. They can actually disrupt the balance of the gut bacteria. So reducing your intake of these, so I'm talking like Splenda, sucralose, even some of the other ones, erythritol.
Equal.
What did you say?
Equal is another one.
Yeah, Equal. That I'm like, and also the other thing, which on a side note of these, is quite often they increase your perception of sweetness. So after you've had artificial sweeteners, once you go back to say sugar, you find that you need, if you had 1 teaspoon of Splenda, for example, now, for example, you may need 5 teaspoons of sugar to have the same sweetness. So it adjusts that sweetness. And it takes a little bit of time. And again, Some people are good at going cold turkey. Some people need to have a step-by-step process to remove them. So it's just about, okay, can I cut back? Can I cut back? Let's have, instead of like 3 Splendors in my coffee, could I just do 2? Can I then do 1? Like, work it out so that you're nurturing yourself, and we're again taking away from being negative.
Correct.
Being positive.
Correct. I love that. And I also want to say, like, with there's it's the pink one. It even says on the label, like, it may cause cancer. Like, there's the pink one. Like I remember as a kid, there's like, don't take the pink one. And I even read on the back, it does say that, sweet and low. I think it's sweet and low, but just flip the labels and you will see. And my brother says guilty. I know I have a sweet tooth. We both yeah. So.
And there can be underlying causes why you are addicted to sweet, right? Definitely. So there can also be indicative of, like, there's some overgrowth maybe in your gut that may be causing you to crave the sweet things. Mm-hmm. Again, with salty things, there can be nutrient or mineral deficiencies. Yes. So the gut tells us many, many things about how our body's operating. Yes. So we kind of like, we've all probably heard of, like, when we have our menstrual period, that we crave like chocolate. Yes. And that can often be showing that we may need a little bit extra magnesium in our life. Mm. So again, there's so many messages, but many of us have not been conditioned. And again, it's about education. Yes. We've not been educated to understand, this is what I should be doing. This is what I should be listening for. Yes. Okay. What am I on now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Eliminating or identifying and eliminating trigger foods. So, for example, bloating. Bloating is normally as a result of something that you have consumed. It's causing you to have a reaction. Okay. And that's why I always encourage my clients to kind of like, just keep a journal. Like, mm-hmm. You can even take photos of what you're eating and just be like, so I ate sweet corn and the sweet corn made me bloated, or it went straight through me. Like, I just went straight to the bathroom after eating that. And again, we can think about corn and talk about corn. How much corn syrup or corn canola oil, how much are we eating on a daily basis, which could be causing inflammation in our body? Yes. The gut then inflames other parts of our body. Like, yes.
Definitely. Denise was saying drinking plenty of water helps flush everything out and keeps you hydrated. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, though, with water, and I love these questions, so keep them coming. Yes. Because, you've probably done this. I've done this.
Yes.
I need to drink 4 glasses of water a day. Mm-hmm. You go from no glasses or very little, because you just drunk coffee all day, mm-hmm. to now drinking 4 glasses of water a day, and you're peeing like a whatever.
Racehorse.
Back and forth to the bathroom. Yeah. So again, right, that can also be detrimental. I always like to say, I'm not overweight, I'm just flooded. Like, but if we increase our water intake too fast, too quickly, we can essentially be flooded. Mm-hmm. And we can also flood out certain minerals, essential minerals and nutrients from our body. Yes. So we need to, again, if you're not a water drinker, mm-hmm. don't go and start drinking like 8 or whatever glasses of water a day, because you'll never forgive us, because you're like permanently in the bathroom. But also you'll be feeling like, oh my gosh, what's happened to me? I feel like I've been run over by a truck because I feel awful. And again, it's about simple steps. Don't go from 0 to 100. Mm-hmm. Little strategic steps, adding that extra cup of water.
Yes.
And then my last tip here, because again, number five is, and I kind of slightly went on it, is limit your supplement use. Mm-hmm. Okay. While supplements can actually be beneficial, overuse can create stress on an already sensitive gut. Mm-hmm. So I want us to first think about removing toxic things, then replacing them with more beneficial things. And if we're then still struggling, that's like the foundations. Like we want to
Yes.
work on the foundations first, and then we can add other things in if we're still struggling. And it could be that maybe if we're exposed to something like more toxic, we need help with detoxification.
Yes.
So we may need to add something in there, or and occasionally we may be like traveling on an airplane and we've been breathing in all that gas, and we might say, oh gosh, we might say, okay, I need to support my body in the detoxification process. Like you said, with poop, like poop as well, you know, we need to make sure that we can poop out, I say bowel movements.
Yeah.
To make sure that we can excrete some of these things. So remember, always food first.
Yes. It's like this. Whatever we, yes.
Yeah. And then what we can do is add things like bone broth is a great thing.
Yes.
Bone broth is a great thing. I also love aloe vera juice as well for helping to remove or to like restore, restoration. It's like the 3 R's. Remove, restore, replace. Those are, if you go away with that, that hopefully will kind of make you think about what you're doing with regards to your gut health.
Colleen was saying also too much water can strip your electrolytes from your body. 100%. You can definitely. That is, there is a diagnosis for that when you do that, and then you come in and we'll restore all those electrolytes.
Yeah, I mean, and then we could like overtaxing the adrenals, and so sometimes
or your kidneys. Yes.
Yeah. So again, it's making sure that we're understanding the signals from our body, and even like, you know, your urine, the color of your urine and what that tells you as well.
Yes.
You know, we don't want it to be totally clear. Like there should be a light straw color to the urine. Otherwise, like I say, we're stripping the body too much.
Yes.
And we'll get
it's again, as a nurse, that's one thing we have to also document. Like how many times you gone, what color, and then also the clarity. So if it's cloudy or if it's clear, those are indicators that there's something going on. So you're thinking like, what other color would there be besides yellow? Believe me, there's a lot of colors, and you just don't want it too dark, because that means your urine's too concentrated, as they would say. Yeah, it has to be like a light yellow, where if you were to put it in a cup and you put it, you know, to some light, you should be able to see right through it, kind of thing. So another fun health tip.
All these, like I say, we're like cascading off of each other, and that's why I say it's a great kind of like mix of the both. And it just, to me, like I say, it inspires me with the belief that there is that link that we can have, hopefully, in our healthcare service. Like people like me tending to be out there alone, you know, and again, I'm torn. Because in regards to healthcare here in the US, obviously there's a lot of dictatorship by the insurance companies. Whereas somebody like me, I'm independent, so I keep my work HIPAA compliant, but I'm not told, oh, you have to follow this protocol.
Right.
Because I believe every single person I deal with is totally unique. And I always like to say, when you look at your thumb or your fingers, and you've got your fingerprint, that is unique to you. And that goes to say with the whole body.
Correct.
There is only one you.
Yes.
Even if you had a twin, you're still unique.
Yes.
Or a triplet, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
if there's more than one you, there's not. Yeah.
Some people may think that there's more than one.
Yeah. I know. I always tell, like, when I'm treating patients, you know, and I'm making my assessment, it's like, this is your body. And I'm lighthearted because that's the way I do my care. I'm like, this is your body. You tell me, like, have you had this pain for a while, or is this something new? Even like people, like when, you know, starting IVs, you know, oh, I'm a difficult stick. I'm like, okay, this is your body. Where do they normally go? Like, you are the expert of your own body, and even the slightest changes, you'll notice that. And it, you know, so be an advocate for yourself, what I'm trying to say. And when, you know, like, you know what, it's new, you know, this is new to me. This pain is new to me. This discomfort is new to me, and my body. So yeah, you've lived in your body for so many years, so you should be you should know the triggers, or you should be easily identified if things are changing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I like to help people navigate is to make them champions, so that when they do go to the doctors and they can be in charge of what they are saying. And that's why I share my story at the beginning, because I kind of went and I was kind of getting railroaded into this whole, well, we don't know what really is wrong with you. Like, I got tested for Sjogren's, lupus, Lyme. I had, did I have MS? All these different things.
Diagnoses.
Looking for that like diagnosis. And well, that's not it. But now take all this, like, maybe we'll give you muscle relaxants and ibuprofen. But I'm like, but you don't know what's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, I was chasing somebody else to tell me. But actually what I worked out, understanding, is that everything I needed was within me. Amen. And I have the power to heal myself.
Yes. Thank you. So we'll quickly wrap this up. Or Denise, thank you for sharing your testimonial on your son. Yes, definitely, like the intake, that just proves to you like how much what you put into your body affects. So she says they're watching the labels for her son and he's down 27 pounds. So that's huge. Congratulations. Still another 20, but look, it's,
I just as well, before we wrap up as well, I just want to tell anybody that's listening that may be struggling with like all kinds of issues, it's not your fault. All right. Because sometimes we think that we blame ourselves, but there's so much misinformation out there. And I've been there, and I was really quite well educated in this. So it's easy for us to kind of like think, oh, I should know better or whatever. How did this happen? Like, but there's so much misinformation. And so now it's about, okay, start today wherever you are. Like I think you said this right at the beginning.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. The biggest choice you make is making that decision to do something.
Yes.
And take control of your life. And that is ultimately what we both want to do and encourage you to do.
Yes. I'm going to drop your website here. If you want a free, tell me what's on your website, Sarah.
So I've got a free midlife mastery handout on there. There's also, if you go through, there's a couple of other things in there that I've got on there for free. There is a gut health for a vegan and omnivore person. So you can scroll through. If for whatever reason you can't find it and you're like, oh, Sarah, I don't know where it is, please just send me a message. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on, I just created a school account, which is a free account right now, which is about community and supporting each other, mainly for women over 40. But if you're a guy out there and you're like, I just don't feel like I only work with certain people, like I've got all kinds of clients from all walks of life. So I try to give as much value as I can, because it truly matters to me to help people navigate health.
Yes. And again, all her links and socials will be in the description below. And again, if you have questions and you didn't get a chance, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll get to it. And just to prepare you guys, next week we'll be talking about exercise. Sarah just got off I think you just did an exercise routine right before this live. So
yeah, that's why I'm like the crazy hair and like the flush look. I try to make myself look presentable.
Yes. I know. All right, Bag Babes. Well, y'all have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Sending you all that positivity, inspiration. Enjoy your 3-day weekend here in the U.S. that we do have a 3-day weekend. Be safe out there. As always, be kind, do kind, and stay kind. World needs some more of your kindness, and know your worth. You are amazing. You are loved. And just go out there and live life. Okay. All right. That's all for now. Yes. Bye, Sarah. Or Sarah, you can just stay on, but we will say bye to all the other friends. Bye now.
Bye.